Shalom, 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 yasha'Allah. It's your boy, Brother Shem Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called, Because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom. Because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who ruled well through the Spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Like I said, today's lesson is going to be called, Because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom. Okay. And, just another story, all right, of Eve, all right, and her wickedness, all right. This is from Law and Crime. It says, Mom abandoned her 3 children for several years to have a kid-free life while they lived in filth and slept on pizza boxes. Mom abandoned her 3 children for several years to have a kid-free life while they lived in filth and slept on pizza boxes. Okay, what is saying, baby boy? Mama got to have her own life, right? I mean, this is crazy. It says a Michigan woman who left her 3 children to fend for themselves while she carried on a kid-free lifestyle will not fight the charges against her. Kelly Bryant, 35, pleaded no contest to 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. It says, in connection with the discovery that she abandoned her 3 children at a home that became overrun with filth. Her children, who were 15, 13, and 12 years old when they were found by themselves at Brian's home in Pontiac, Michigan, during a welfare check on February 14, 2025, told police that they had been on their own since 2020 or 2021. It says, as Law and Crime previously reported, Brian was sentenced for welfare fraud in June after she pleaded no contest to receiving public assistance funds meant to go towards supporting the children she now admits to abandoning. It says her parental rights were terminated in April and children were placed with relatives. It says the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office said Brian left her 3 children by themselves in a squalid apartment without running water or functioning toilets. After Brian left, the children stopped attending school and stopped leaving the house. Brian reportedly had some contact with her 15-year-old son, but never spoke to or saw her 2 younger daughters. It says that she reported that she had her children listed in her phone as my oldest, kid 1 and kid 2. Sheesh. According to the police, the kids spent their days watching television, playing video games. Bryant and a stranger would drop off food. That says the living conditions were so bad that the garbage was stacked as high as 14 feet. Feces throughout the home. It says and filled with and filled the bathtub. It says the toilet was overflowing and mold was everywhere. The son slept on a mattress on the floor while the 2 daughters slept on pizza boxes. It's crazy. All right. It says, the children were also unaware of how to take care of themselves and had trouble walking because their toenails were so long. Oakland County's Sheriff Department John Brish testified in court that he had never smelled a home that smelled that bad without a decomposing body present. Sheesh. It says Brish also told the court during a preliminary hearing that when he interviewed Brian, she showed up well-groomed and dressed with her nails and hair done. She reportedly admitted to Brish, "I hurt my children. I sacrificed my children probably." Brian is scheduled to be sentenced on September 1st, right? But this is that, you know, uh, that telltale, this is, a lot of you, Eve out there, man. All right. You know, on the outside, they look all good. All right. But if you just only knew, all right, you only knew what was going on. All right. The scriptures tell us, matter of fact, let's get some scriptures. Salakia. And Salakia, I keep, saying it. The longer and longer, all right, we stray away from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, and the worse our people are gonna get, man. All right, the worse our people are gonna get, and we see it. All right, we see it clear as day. All right, but First Timothy chapter 5 and verse number 6, it says, "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." Okay, she was so, she wanted to just have a kid-free life. Well, yeah, you shouldn't have laid down and opened up your legs, right? If you wanted a kid-free life, all right. But she, and you see this all the time, where you see the woman, the kids be looking crazy. You got the woman, nails done, hair done, and she was taking the money that's supposed to be for the children and doing it for herself. All right, living her best life. All right, but it says, "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." All right. What was that? Our people, man, we're so destroyed, right? Matter of fact, let's get this. Lamentations 4 and verse number 3. It says, "Even the sea monsters draw out the breasts, they give suck to their young ones." It says, "The daughter of my people is become cruel." It says, "Like the ostrich of the wilderness." It says, "The tongue of the suckling child cleaveth to the roof of his mouth for thirst. The young children ask for bread, and no man breaketh it unto them." All right. Now she's dropping off food like, like, you had those in the zoo with the animals with the cages. They drop off the food and they take off. All right. She dropped off food, right? Probably the bare minimum, and then bounced and went and lived her but for years. They said they hadn't seen her. She hadn't been home since 2020. All right. I mean, that's crazy work. All right. But this is the estate of our people. All right. This is the estate that most Eve is in at this point. All right. This is justified why Yahawah Shemel Shai is going to destroy a lot of our people. All right. The cruelty and just the lack of knowledge, as the scripture said. All right. But it says, reading up, it says like the ostriches in the wilderness. Okay. So the Most High had likened Eve, like the ostrich in the wilderness. Okay. Let's go to Job chapter 39, and let's start at verse number 13. It says, "Gavest thou the goodly wings unto the peacock, or wings and feathers unto the ostrich, which leaveth her eggs in the earth, and warmeth them in the dust, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them. It says, or that the wild beast may break them. Okay, she just left her kids in a house. Just left her kids in a house, and here you guys fend for yourself, right? I'll drop off some pizza for y'all. I'll drop off some, didn't go to school, and they didn't do nothing. All right, they just stayed in the house. I'm surprised that the, utilities and stuff was, working it somewhat. All right, but look at this place, man. Look at the bathroom, man. Look at that. That's crazy work. All right. Hey, but she got her weave in, right? She made sure her weave was good. All right, look at this. I don't even know what this is. This right here, I don't even know what that is. Right? That's crazy. All right. But it says, which leaveth her eggs in the earth and warmeth them in the dust. Right? So an ostrich will lay the eggs, bury them in the earth, and go about their business. It says, and forgetteth that the foot may crush them. All right. It says, or that the wild beast may break them. Okay. You let your kids home alone for not while you went to work. All right. From overnight or whatever. No, not for a couple days, not for a week, not for months, for years. You abandoned your kid and left your kids. All right. It says, she is hardened against her young ones. It says, as though they were not hers. All right. This is, hey, listen, the scriptures is spot on. All right. It's spot on. All right. And that's how these words are faithful and true. All right. And you can't avoid prophecy. You can't avoid, all right, the word of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi at the end of the day. All right. It says she is hardened against her young ones as though they were not hers. It says her labor is in vain without fear. Why? Because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. Okay? And you see, the more and more we stray away from Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, the worse it gets, man. The worse it gets. Okay? I think I did a lesson where, you had a lady who abandoned her kids at a house. It was like overnight, or something was going on. And then you had the neighbors, we just thought that, because they was outside playing overnight and this other stuff. And now you have folks for years leaving their kids. All right. Just coming to drop off, food. Right. Just drop off some food. Don't answer the door though. And don't go outside. All right. They said the kids couldn't even walk because their toenails were so long. That's crazy. Right? It says, because the Most High have deprived her of wisdom, neither hath he imparted her to understanding. Okay? And what does it say? What is that? Ecclesiastes 7. Ecclesiastes 7 and let's see, verse number, here we go. Verse number 25, it says, I applied my heart to know and to search and to seek out wisdom and the reason of the things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. Right? So Solomon, he was testing out everything. All right? So he wanted to see. He said, and I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands, whoso pleaseth the Most High shall escape from her. but the sinner shall be taken by her. All right. And look at that, right? And she probably, some Jake, she probably didn't even tell the Jake she had children, and yeah, I'm free. I don't got no kids, right? Not knowing she got 3 kids at the house, all right, who've been by themselves for damn near 5 years. Say 3 years, but hell, they said 2020, 2021, all right, to 2025, man. All right. Come on now. So it says, but the sinner shall be taken by her. It says, behold, I have found, this have I found, saith the preacher, continuing one by one to find out the account. It says, which yet my soul seeketh, but I find not. It says, one man among 1,000 have I found. It says, but a woman among all those have I not found. All right. So, out of 1,000 men, all right, Solomon said he found one man. All right. But among that of women, it says, but a woman among all those have I not found. All right. Hey, and, the Lord said, you know, what is that? I was trying to paraphrase it, but I can't even paraphrase it. So let me just grab it real quick. Isaiah 32, verse number 9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. All right, so for 3 years, you was living good, living your best life. All right. Talking about you ain't had no children. I know it was probably all types of, craziness going on. All right. You know, you can only imagine. All right. With Eve, it says, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you and make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. Okay. So now you did all that. All right. You lived in that pleasure. All right. And now where are you? All right. Sitting in jail now. All right. Sitting in jail. All right. Because because the Most High has has deprived you of wisdom. What does it say about that? Um, Hosea 4, verse number 6. It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. All right. And guess what? Hey, these children, man. All right. Hey, they had to fend for themselves. All right. Sleeping in filth like this. All right. Well, I'm sure she's living it up. She's living it up. All right. So it says, I will also forget thy children. Okay. And now, this you saw, these curses is real. All right. And the word of Yahawashi is real. All right. Because you can truly go into these things. You can go into the scriptures and read, and then you can just watch what's going on, and you see it like, oh, there it is. That's exactly what it's talking about. All right. And that's the thing. There's nothing new under the sun. All right. When they were uh when they were starving, right? Remember, they ate the children. Okay. All right. Hey, she just totally abandoned it. All right, like an ostrich. She abandoned her kids like an ostrich. All right, and left them. All right, for the wild beasts. All right. Hey, um, let's go to verse number 7. It says, as they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore, I will change their glory into shame. Okay. She was living it up. All right. Now look at her. All right. Looking crazy, man. looking crazy. Got your kids with, you know, can't even walk because their toenails is too long. All right. Ain't went to school. All right. Ain't went outside probably. Right. Look at all the trash and everything is still inside. Crazy work. All right. But like I say, the more and more, the further and further, the longer and longer we're away from Yahawah Bahasham, hey, the worse. That's just lets you know. All right. We need Yahawah Bahasham. All right. We need Yahawah Bahasham. All right. We you can see it. All right. You can see it on our people. Okay. You can see it on our people. Um, so it says, I will change their glory into shame. All right. Because she'd rather uh, live in pleasure. All right. Yet what? She's as one, what do they say? Proverbs 21 and verse number 16. It says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. All right. Just the walking dead, man. Right. We got a lot of our people out here just the walking dead. Right. You just, you hear conversations of our people. And it's so frustrating. All right. Because it's all about folly and madness. Right. It's all about folly and madness. All right. The majority of the time. All right. When they try to speak something, according, right, they have that zeal, but it's not according to knowledge. All right. It's not according to knowledge. So then they just start spewing out stuff and you just be like, man, yeah, this place has to go. All right. This place has to go. All right. Hey, it has to go away. All right. This place, man, is just filthy nasty. Right. And our people, you know, um, are going through it. Our people are going through it. All right. Like I say, there's plenty of stories that I've seen and I've done, about, these women, they did just abandon their children. You had the one that was just dropping off Uber Eats to their children. Okay. The neighbors saw the children outside, said they saw them out there playing at 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. They didn't think nothing of it. All right. But that's the estate of our people. You think back in the day, even during segregation, you know, our people were like a village, all right, and they looked after each other and each other's children. They knew each other. Oh, you Mammy Mae's children over there, right? We know who you know. Now, hey, you see people, they don't even talk to each other, man, right? Jake got that evil eye towards his brother, all right. You know, wherever you live in the hood, you leave a window open 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, all you hear is Jake and Eve, going at it, cussing each other out. All right, then you see the sirens come, and yeah, it's the same old, man. All right, it's the definition of insanity. All right, because our people continue to try to do the same thing and expect different results, man. Right? But it says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. All right. And remember, these scriptures were given to us, for our learning, for our reproof. All right. But you have our people, this is old. That's old. Right? When it tells you, for example, what is that? Titus. Right? You got people, oh yeah, they go to church, they say they love the Most High, they love all that, right? And then you bring out scriptures to them, and well, that's the Old Testament. That's old. That's the old way. All right. Titus chapter 2 and verse number 3. It says, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not as false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, right? Just teachers of good things. Listen, I gotta go. Mama gotta live her best life. Listen, I'll be back probably in 2 weeks. I'll drop y'all off a pizza. Y'all better not eat this whole pizza because y'all ain't getting none for 2 weeks. All right. You just going through the mindset. All right. I got a date today. You know, I can't be late. You guys are hindering me, right? I'm trying to be kid free. I'm going to make it happen. I'm just going to get up one day and say, I got to go. All right. It says that the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. It says that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children. All right? To love their children. Right? That's crazy. It's got to be written in there. All right? Why? Because the Most High has deprived her of wisdom. All right? It says that they may teach the young woman to be sober. Right? You ain't got to go out and run to a bar. You ain't got to be gone for 3 years with your kids. Right? That they may teach the young woman to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to what? To be discreet, chaste, keepers at home. She gone for 3 years. All right, what does it say? Abandon her 3 children. Right, it says to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. All right. And we see, hey, this, it's all you can do is, in Babylon is just sigh and cry for the abominations that we see, man. All right. We continue to call these things out. All right. We continue to call Yahawah to deliver us from this place at the end of the day. All right. Because it's nothing but filthiness and madness. All right. And the longer that we stay away from our power, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and the worse we're going to get at the end of the day. Okay? The worse we're going to get. And guess what? Hey, the Lord is going to turn it up even worse. It's going to be even worse for a lot of you women out there. All right? Who want to live your best life. All right? And the Lord has something for that. All right? You think it's all good. All right? But it's something coming. All right? That, hey, y'all don't understand. All right, so I just want to do this quick lesson. Like I said, I saw this article. I've been holding it for a little minute, and the spirit kind of got upon me to do this lesson. Lord's will, this is edifying. And you got simps who come on and you talk about the women. It's not all women, right? The majority of the women, all right. But we're not talking about all women, right? The scriptures talk about the elect woman. All right. But we understand a lot of our women is just like this woman right here. All right. Now you see her, right? Because she might show up in front of you and she dressed to impress and doing all that. Right. And you get kind of signs, right? Because you get in her car, you see her car look like a hoarder. You like, damn, So, but hey, this woman, was left her kids for 3 years. All right. And went kid free and probably was going out telling dudes, oh, yeah, I'm kid. I don't got no kids. Yeah. I ain't got nothing holding me back. Right. Telling all the lies, man. Telling all the lies and filthiness, man. Right. That's why, hey, this place, it's got to be destroyed, man. We can't wait. Okay. So with that, right, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Kol Hala Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad, and mighty Shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS who ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Another mighty Shalom to the rest of the elect and the household of faith, man. Stay diligent. Stay focused. All right? Hey, you few women who are out there. All right? Hey, shouts out. Shouts out to y'all. All right? Hey, but you love you weave, you weave, you Eves out there. Hey, woe unto you, man. Woe unto you, you careless women. Hey, the Lord is coming to visit you. All right, sooner than later. All right. So with that, we say a ball, and shalom.